Hello, this is Andrew from everythingadatabase.com. In this tutorial, I will show you how to create and display a Crosstab query using PHP. The data comes directly from querying a database and selecting the two columns of data to make the table. In this example, the data comes from the amount of cell phones that were sold monthly between the years 2012 and 2015. I'm using only the month and year column, but your query can contain other columns such as the type of cell phone, the price of the phone, the name of the customer, and the name of the sales clerk. This information here, which you can see from the month and the year, will be displayed as follows. I will take this information and you will have this one as your end product, the number of cell phones sold each month. So we'll take those two columns and give you this Crosstab query. The data comes from a record set. So your normal query results, you get your record set. Next, I will initialize 3 arrays for you. Those 3 arrays will be one to hold the row, an array to hold a column, and the third array will be holding the data for the Crosstab query. Having initialized those 3 arrays, I will fill them up from the data from the query results. So we use a for loop and we place the value into the X row from the month. The column information, which is the year, will be stored in Y column, and the data for the Crosstab will be a concatenated values of the month and underscore and the year. Next, I will use the function array count values to store the value of the month as the keys and their frequency as the amount of occurrences. This is done for the row, is done for the column, and is also done for the Crosstab data. In other words, Crosstab will store the amount of occurrences of January, the amount of occurrences of February, the amount of occurrences of December, right down to December. So you will have the keys will be the month name, and the frequency that the month occur will be stored in the amount. This is done for all 3 queries. I, however, prefer to store my keys and values into 2 separate databases, 2 different arrays. So therefore, I take the values from the X Crosstab and I store the keys into row label, that is January, February, March, April, May, June, and X total is key is the amount of occurrences that January occurs. So therefore, X total for January will be amount of that January occur. X total when the key is February will store the amount of times that February occur. This is also done for the year tab. So therefore the column tab should say 2012 and the number of occurrences when 2012 is stored in value. The amount of occurrences of 2013 is stored in this store also in this different array. So we take the single array with the keys and value and put them into separate corresponding arrays. I prefer this method. Because of the nature of my data, I can check for the minimum year and the maximum year. These values will assist me for my column, my table header, information about my table. We are now ready to build the table. So align my table to be center and give it the title, the number of cell phones sold between the minimum year and the maximum year. I'm now ready to construct the Crosstab query. I will start with the column headings first. I echo my table border, and there's a class that I use to display the table the way you saw it display. The first cell in the upper left hand corner, which I call my title cell, I echo month, 2 bars, and year. The value of my columns are displayed in the column label, so I use a for loop to echo across the column. This will give me the titles for the year. This will be 2012, 2013, 2014, 2015. To the right of that, I echo the totals because the total will go into that column, and I close off my table row. Note that the titles of all the columns have been completed at this stage. I will now display the current row title, then the Crosstab data straight across to the right, and then the total for that row, displaying the row title. A for loop is used to display the row title. The titles of the row are held in the row label, so I start my row, and my header will say firstly January. That is the first bit of information that goes for the row title. Next, I display the Crosstab theory using a inner loop, so for each column label as title, then I use the variable I to concatenate the row title and the column title, and this will generate the key for the data. I check to see if my Crosstab key is present. If it is present, I will echo the information that is there. If it is not present, I will place the value 0 in that cell. This is done all the way to the right, just before you get to the total of that row. After this loop is completed, we display the total in the right hand column, in the rightmost column of the table. So we check again to see if that value is set. If it is set, we display the total, otherwise we display 0. Then we close the inner loop, and this loop will continue until the full Crosstab theory is completed. Next, we will have to put the values in the final row at the bottom. That is the total of the years. We start in the leftmost column of the last row. We echo our total, and we are getting ready to write the totals on that last row We initialize our grand total to 0. We then use a final loop to write our values at the end. For each column label, as we take the column labels, check the value that are in them and echo the value. We keep a count of the grand total, and this will be placed in the last cell on the right hand side. When the loop is completed, as I mentioned, we write the grand total in that last cell. We then close back the table and we close our div. This is the end of our Crosstab theory. When this query is run, however, the table will appear unsorted, in that the first data that came in, it wrote into the array. So we have here August, July, December, May, February, June, and of course we have 2013, 2012, 2015, 2014. What we can do, we can sort numerical data. There will be no issue in sorting this data. However, if we want to sort month, we need to have a preset array with the months sorted, and I will show you how to do this. It can be done in instances where this data is known. We know that only January to December can occur here, and we also, if we have a situation where we have Sundays, Monday, the days of the week, we can also have a pre-sorted array. And now I will show you where you can insert that pre-sorted array and where you can also sort your years. If you want your years to be sorted as well as your year, the month and the year, you can go back to just before you start to make your table and insert this line. Though it is not necessary to include this line to have the results sorted by month, you may do so for that. So therefore, I will choose my row label to be an array January to December. So this is sorted, and I also sort my column label, which is the year. These two values, row label and column label, were arrays that were made earlier. As you can see, column label here is the year and row label is the month. So this, after this has been completed, then both the column label and the row label, you can sort them in this manner. When they are sorted in this manner, then your values would look like this. The month have been sorted, the years have been sorted. Thank you very much. You're welcome. Signing out, Andrew from Everything a Database. Hope this has been helpful to you, and please subscribe. Bye.